that you're doing great. Welcome to my channel, Adrian here, psychic medium, regression hypnosis practitioner, and this is a general reading for you for 7 till 13 November. Okay, so please take it as it resonates. If you would like to help my channel to grow, I'd really appreciate it if you go right ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel before you forget, hit that notification bell so you can catch your weekly reading. Just before I start the reading, I just want to very quickly go into my regression hypnosis offer, just because a lot of people have been asking me about it lately. You can also click the link down below in the description for my website, ahngreatlife.com, to check that out there as well. Okay, but so a lot of people have become very concerned lately, especially those that may have taken, certain sorts of like medications and things like that, for preventative measurements and curings and things like that, became very concerned now with maybe having certain sort of, elements inside of their body that can maybe not serve them in the best possible way. I want to let you know that your mind is the most powerful thing in the universe. For you, your consciousness, you are unlimited. And when you untap or unlock the potential of your mind, you can reprogram your DNA. So whatever might have been placed inside of your body or anything like that that might be concerning you, when you really tap into the potential and you connect with your mind, then you can override anything. So you can either, approach this from a regression hypnosis point, which is either in person or online, or alternatively, you can also work through my 8 weeks Mind Unlocking Psychic Development course, which also really will help you with that, Sagittarius. Okay, now let's start off with your tarot without any further ado. And I'm going to use the Good Tarot by Colette Baron-Reid for the first part of our reading. And this is just for some general messages to come out. I'm going to draw you 3 cards, Sagittarius, unless, or in case, unless source maybe, guides me to draw more. So for Sagittarius, what are the messages that we want? And it comes out quite fast there. You've got the Queen of Water, first of all, which is the Queen of Cups. It's all about emotions. It's all about reflection, that inner sort of reflection, that introspection, going inside. And it's almost like for many of you, by going inside and getting off a more sort of like I would almost say like a spiritual, or a more, when I say spiritual, I don't want you to think too sort of like spirituality, but by getting more sort of like an inner perspective, what sits well with your heart, by getting that sort of perspective on things, might actually make a lot of things on the outside, make a lot more sense. That might be a little confusing for you at the moment. Okay, some of you are faced with big challenges at the moment. Maybe you stand before a big decision. And I specifically get, now I don't know if this is just for some of you or for all of you, maybe it's just for some of you, but there's a decision almost between do I go home or do I stay? Okay, and I feel that there's some guidance for you around that. We're going to have a look at that for you now. Just get the rest of our cards, spirit guides and guardian angels. What is it that Sagittarius needs to know, please? What is it that Sagittarius needs to know? What is the guidance that is going to support them? Okay. Let's see, one more card. Okay, that's interesting. So we've got 5 cards so far, and they say one more. Okay, cool. So we've got the Queen of Water, which is the Queen of Cups, and then we've got this whole stack that came out here. So you've got the 3 of Fire, which is the 3 of Pentacles, and then you've got the Page of Earth, which is the Page of Pentacles. So, sorry, I think I said Pentacles. I meant to say Queen of Cups over here. If I did say it wrong, I apologize. Queen of Fire, which is, or 9 of Fire, which is the 9 of Wands. Love, which is that sort of love card for the lovers. The 6 over their energy. And the 2 of Fire, which is the 2 of Wands. So when I look at this, Sagittarius, I'm looking at the first 3 cards first, because it's almost like there's 2 individual messages that is coming through over here. For many of you, first of all, for those of you that are having the thought of do I go, do I stay, what do I do? I feel that you are exactly where it is that you need to be. You've sort of done a lot of healing by the process of just being and just living. And a question that you want to ask yourself at the moment, is it time for you to move, or are you just bored? All right? Because I feel that for some of you, it may be that it's time to move, but for some of you, you're actually just bored, and you sort of want to have that honest kind of, one-to-one conversation with yourself, maybe looking in a mirror and having that conversation with yourself, there might be a bright idea that some of you might be having that, and I feel that for some of you, it's almost like you are sort of like discarding an idea that you get, maybe a new career, making money. Because for some of you, you might be like, well, my boxes are packed, I'm on my way to go, or, I'm ready to pack and that sort of things. But I do see for a lot of you, it's almost like now that you're ready to move or ready to go, and, everything's sort of like planned out, and maybe you needed to plan like a ticket rate and stuff like that. Now for some of you, there seems to be like a bright sort of like idea, or there might be some sort of like promotion on the table, sort of opportunity, and you're like, well, I'm not really open to this right now because, my plan is to go there, but this idea that you have, I wouldn't be that quick to just discard it, because it might be the brilliant solution to everything that you have been, looking for. It might not be what you initially planned, but I feel that for some of you, if you have got that idea, or there is that sort of like opportunity on the table, don't be too fast to just say no to that, because it might be exactly what you have been, waiting for and hoping for all along. And then with the other three cards, with this Nine of Fire, this Nine of Wands, with the Lover's energy, that number 6 energy, and also there with the Two of Fire, which is the Two of Wands. Okay, so I see where we're going over here, because some of you are pulled in two different directions. You kind of pulled in the one direction sort of with like money, and in the other direction you seem to be sort of like be pulled in the direction of your heart. But I want to go there. I want to experience that. I want to feel that sort of, magic. I want to encourage you, Sagittarius, to be open to the idea that there might be a solution over here that might not be 100% clear to you yet. And again, staying might be to your greater advantage as opposed to leaving, as opposed to going. I feel that for some of you, you might be very fixated on this moving thing, and whilst obviously there's nothing wrong with that, you kind of want to really sort of have that very honest conversation with yourself. And I don't know, but it's almost like I get the idea for some of you there might be some booze involved, so then maybe you need to have a drink, or you had a drink, or or some other substance. But I feel that it's almost like you don't trust the way that the sort of like this new inspiration came towards you. And some of you might sort of be making it off like, almost like staying is, it's almost like maybe you're afraid. So, you're kind of thinking, well, maybe I'm sort of bringing about, all of this and everything seems fine and everything seems perfect for me to stay. Maybe I'm afraid. So I'm sort of like, fabricating this for myself in order to justify staying as opposed to going. Not what's happening. Okay. Right. And also they're asking like if you think of going to a different space or avenue or area, is it really what you want? Okay, so we are going to use for your recent, past, current space and what's heading towards you. We're going to use the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. I love this deck of cards. And Chris Ann actually launched a new deck of cards yesterday. I'm so excited to get it. I don't think it's available in South Africa yet, but get it, I'm gonna get it because it's beautiful, it's awesome. I mean, eventually it will come, So let's see what we've got for Sagittarius, please. What is it that Sag needs to know? Spirit guides and guardian angels, what is it that my beautiful Sagittarius needs to know? Some of you might be a little bit, it's not necessarily like you've got a bad plan, but it's almost like waiting things out might be to your advantage more, as opposed to kind of like run towards something and want to make it happen because that's what you want. Okay. Let's see, Sagittarius, please. Spirit guides and guardian angels. What is it that Sagittarius needs to know? What does Sag needs to know? What does serve their greatest good? There's a lot of indecisiveness here for you. Sorry, and the reason why I know this is because I'm shuffling and shuffling and shuffling and cards are not coming out, which a lot of times to me indicate that that there might be uncertainty. 3 cards came out there for the recent past. I also get triplicities, and you know, triplicities can obviously mean different things. It's a certain term in astrology. I'm not going to go into it because it's way too much to go into, but you know, it's in essence it sort of refers to like a pattern that is formed in the universe where, you know, we look at one thing and one thing, and it seems like something and something, but when you put it together, it's sort of like a, you know, it forms like a whole different pattern. Collectively it forms like a different story, you know, like you get milk, for example, you get sugar, and you get custard powder, which are 3 different things, but when you put them together and you combine them in the right way, you get what is called custard. Another 3 cards for your current space. So don't forget the allness of who you are. Remember that you are a spiritual being, you know, your mind, body, spirit, and, you know, tap into all the allness of who you are, okay? Don't try to make a decision maybe only from your human point. Now, in the recent past, what brought you towards where you are at the moment, we've got the 8 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, and the 4 of Pentacles. So, you've got a very set idea here in your mind in the recent past for how things are going to be, how it's going to work out, how you're going to experience it, how your life is going to be better, how everything is going to flow better, how maybe money is going to work out better. Sorry, for some weird reason I have to draw one more card for the energy coming towards you, even though I'm not speaking about that at the moment, but they're very, very adamant about it. So, what is going on there? In the recent past, the energy coming towards you, we're going to place it in your recent past with the 7 of Pentacles. So some of you may have abandoned an idea in favor of another idea, and now what you sort of abandoned, it's almost like it's sort of like starting to come to fruition. And for many of you, the reason why that happened is because you sort of, you know, you may have tried to make something work for quite an extended period of time, and it wasn't working, and so you kind of gave up on that, you forgot about that, you sort of moved to the side, it's never going to happen, whatever, that sort of thing. But because you sort of stopped like hammering on it, you actually went into the surrender space for something to happen that you thought actually wouldn't happen, okay? And I think that is what's causing the confusion in the recent past there for a lot of you. In the current space, we've got the Knight of Swords, so clear decision making, clear thinking, the Judgment card, and the King of Wands. All right, very strong energies here for you, as well as the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is also that energy that came out there for you initially, first of all, in the Good Tarot. So it's the same energy that's coming out in your current space. And you were really, you know, sort of, again, and I mean, this might sound like I'm being a little bit picky on you now, Sagittarius, but, you know, I can only give you what I get. And you are really called here to use that beautiful wisdom of yours to in a sense, not just discard what you know is the right choice for you, or at least something that is worth considering. Don't just be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. No. Let's not even talk about it. I want to hear about it. No. Don't do that. Okay? Because there's a lot of, you are very different. Some of you have gone through a hell of a lot of struggle and a lot of challenges and a lot of pain and fear, and it's like a whole lot of things sort of happened in succession for you, which does actually, you know, sort of bring you to that point where you can believe that it is better to, you know, to go as opposed to stay. But it's almost like you're releasing a very overprotective of yourself, scared version of yourself. So a lot of you are releasing a lot of fear, and I feel that you're very brave within yourself, and you know, your inner relationship with yourself is changing quite beautifully as you go forward. This is what's stripping some of you up, the 9 of Wands, you know, going forward, because you do know that there are certain matters almost that need to be dealt with if you stay as opposed to going. Okay, I'm going to clarify using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. There are links for all the different decks that are used down below in the description. So we're going to start with that recent past over there and see what we've got going on over there, because there's a whole lot of stuff happening over there. 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands. It really appears like staying is better than going. you know, in whatever capacity this may like apply to you. Eight of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and Queen of Pentacles. It's almost like there are more and more reasons to stay as opposed to go. You know, the scale is basically tipping here. You know, and it may not completely seem that way, but the odds are very much forever in your favor here. You know, but some of you don't want to see that. Let's look at your current space, because that is causing some mind confusion over there, you know, which might lead to difficulty sleeping. I feel that for some of you, it almost feels like you're in an extended, almost like a bad sort of mood, you know, because of the sense of annoyance. Let's see what we have for you, please, for the current space for Sagittarius. One more card. So you've got the Queen of Swords, you've got the Two of Swords, and the High Priestess, followed by the King of Swords. Okay, so for some of you, it's like you know what to do, but you don't want to accept it as the answer. You don't want to accept it as the truth. And you are really called there with the High Priestess and the King of Swords. You are really called, a lot of this reading's got a lot to do with stability. You are being called to really sort of go back to the drawing table, to again be honest with yourself and really ask yourself those very difficult sort of questions and like choices, you know, is this really the best choice for me? And again, I feel that for many of you, staying is better as opposed to going, okay, as opposed to leaving. Let's look at that Nine of Wands for the energy that is prospectively heading your way. Look at those cards being a bit wild. I'm just going to go pick them up. Give me one moment, please. All right, thanks so much. So this Queen of Water went flowing to the ground. Sense of stubbornness over here. Stubborn like only Sagittarius can be. And I know because I'm Sagittarius rising. Cards that came to the floor, first of all, in the upright position, the Hierophant. You know there's a new beginning on the table here for you, and it's almost like you're a little bit psychic about a situation, something like a circumstance, because you can see forward into the future, and you know that there might be some work. It's not going to be sort of like just smooth sailing if you stay, but I still feel that it is the preferential choice for you. Okay, and remember we had this Queen of Water, this Queen of Cups in reverse. And then this card went flying to the floor. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that when a card goes to the floor, you know that for me, that's a very powerful message. They were in reverse, which sometimes means that you're not aware of it, but I feel in your case, it's something that you don't want to face. You don't want to look at it. Queen of Cups and Eight of Wands, both in reverse. Now, of course, this is a general reading, but from what I'm picking up is that if you do go ahead and you insist on sort of moving away from the, you know, the space situation, the circumstances where you're at the moment, you might be quite disappointed going forward. You know, you might end up with regrets. Okay, so there could be a lot of disappointment here. I would recommend that you, obviously it depends on your personal situation and your circumstances. This is only guidance, but writing out might be more in your, writing things out might actually be serving you more positively, as opposed to, you know, being insistent on leaving. Let's see what we've got for you with the Moonology card. It's very difficult to be in a situation like this, Sagittarius, and I most certainly, you've got my compassion. Supermoon, emotions are running high. Emotions are running high, but be very careful that emotions, you know, don't sort of override your logic, especially long-term running emotions. Because the thing to remember is that when we look at energy, the intention behind the action is what determines the outcome. So you always want to look at the motivation. And when you want to leave something or someone or situation because you're so fed up and you had enough and, you know, screw them and all those type of things, when you go forward with that energy, you sort of invest in what it is that you want to get away from. And I mean, I've been a professional runner for many years of my life, and the more you run away, the worse the situation gets, because what you focus upon is what you also draw into your life. Okay, so that's what I got for you, Sagittarius. I'm sending you lots of love and compassion from my heart, and you know, if you want some universal support, I would say, you know, place your hand on your heart, take a nice deep breath, ask the universe for some support, for some guidance, for some clarity. Okay. If you want to have a focus on your personal energy, you can obviously book a personal reading with me, or you can have some regression hypnosis, distance crystal Reiki, all the other wonderful things that I have. It's all down below in the link with the description for my website. Also, even if you're not interested in purchasing anything, I would still encourage you to go and have a look at the website, because my goal behind setting up the website was to really motivate you and inspire you and remind you of the beautiful infinite being of, you know, potential that you've always been. So go and have a look at it, and if it, you know, the reading resonates with you, I'd really appreciate you commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing, all those wonderful things. But namaste, love and light. See you next time. Bye.